Citizens speak out. The demands from people striving for greater basic freedoms and human rights continues as they gather to be heard in countries such as Bahrain, Bolivia, China, Egypt, Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast, Pakistan, Palestine, Somalia, Syria, Uganda and Yemen.
Churches in China have filed a petition with lawmakers asking for religious freedom in response to a situation where a group of Christians were arrested for attempting to hold outdoor services on Easter Sunday.
The Bolivian government has requested talks with the Bolivian Workers Federation in lieu of demonstrations, urging meanwhile that all who do take part in rallies avoid violence.
In Côte d'Ivoire, President Alassane Ouattara declared a 3-day national mourning period starting Thursday, May 12th, to honor victims of the country's post-election violence, in which nearly 3,000 people are thought to have lost their lives. The Ministry of Health also announced free national health care during this transition period to help in the recovery process.
At least 5 people lost their lives in Uganda when police attempted to suppress supporters of former presidential candidate Kizza Besigye, who were demonstrating as African leaders departed the inauguration ceremony of President Yoweri Museveni on Thursday. The incumbent president's term has now been extended to 30 years. Mr. Besigye, who just returned from recovering in Kenya after he was injured by Ugandan security forces, contends that the recent election results were fixed.
In Somalia, where civil war 20 years ago led to the loss of government control over most of the country, 31 people are reported to have died Wednesday, 5 of whom were government soldiers, after fighting erupted in the town of Galgala between the UN-supported national government and forces from the Al-Shabaab group, whose goal is to displace the current government in favor of one based on Islamic Sharia law.
Tens of thousands of Egyptians held joint rallies in Cairo's Tahrir Square Friday, with one group calling for unity among the country's Muslims and Christians, and another marching in solidarity with the Palestinian people and to celebrate their reunification.
2 people were killed by security forces in Yemen on Friday as protesters continued calling for President Ali Abdullah Saleh to resign.
The UN Human Rights Group has expressed alarm at reports of arrest and severe mistreatment of Bahraini citizens, especially the deaths of several activists while they were under arrest, and indications that those arrested are not being granted access to their legal rights and due process of law. It also reported that between 700 and 850 Syrians have been killed since protests began, and called upon Syria to end its use of force and mass arrests.
In sadness for the loss of cherished lives, we are heartened by the glimmers of harmony amidst the turmoil, and we pray for all strife to end as citizens in every country decide to live side by side in dignity, freedom, and peace.